that fall we got married. Moody was crazy about him. Bella and her cried at the wedding like babies.
Let's see, you were born in the Kabira house, right?
I was also born there, but Wesley.
Now you told me one time something about the Kabira house. No, it was, I wanted to know about the farmhouse, that was it. Did Pop own the Kabira house?
No. He bought it from Bishko, I think.
Okay, from Bishko. And as the family got larger, then he decided he needed a bigger house?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was built anew. And then we didn't move in till all the walls were painted and the floors were done. Everything was done. Then we moved in. We moved in the fall. It was nice here because we were carrying the dishes from Kabiras up the hill. It was the park. And small things, you know. And in March she had this baby and died. So she really didn't enjoy her home very long.
That was your mother?
My mother.
Oh, let's see. You moved in the fall and she had the baby in the spring?
March.
Baby in March.
The baby and her died March 12th.
And they were buried together.
That picture is as clear to me today as it ever will be. The baby was laid in her arms and it looked so pretty and relaxed. And
Did the baby have a name? Did they name the baby?
I'm not sure. Joseph was the last one here, huh?
Joseph, yes.
How
And
many of them that you got there?
I've got Roman, Victor,
No, the dead ones.
Joseph, Simon,
Stefania,
Helen,
So it
and
must
the
be
baby would be 5.
There you go. If that one was Joseph, the baby probably didn't get a chance to get a name.
Oh, you think the baby might have been Joseph?
Yeah, I thought so. But
I'll
don't
put
know
a
if the other
question
one would
mark.
be then.
Okay. I'll ask Uncle
I
Ray.
could be wrong too.
I'll just put question marks here. Well, this is good to tie in all these facts and get them straightened out. Because all my kids are interested in the family history, even Kevin. So as soon as I get through with a little bit more on this, I want to get... if you think of anything as we're going along, just interrupt. Now this is Pop. He was born in 1870 on a farm near Loniza, Russia, Loniza, and he died February 15th in 45, and he married your mother, and then he married Josephine Galetcia, is that spelled right? Over here. And they lived in Kabira's house.
Yeah.
Well, here, maybe I've got a little bit more here.
Oh, Josephine didn't live in Kabira's house.
No, she lived in the new house. And you were 7 when your mother died. Now the children here, like I say, I've got so many records here, they're all different. There was Adam Victor, Roman, Martha, Ursula, Bella, Wesley, and here's a little bit more here. The children who died. Simon was between Victor and Ray. He was 10 years old and died of blood poisoning. Helen was between Martha and Mary, 2.5.
No, Ray said she wasn't. The last time we could have talked about it, he said no. She was before Martha, I think.
Before.
There's nobody between Martha and me and Belle and me, and I thought there was.
Okay. And
maybe Ray doesn't get it straight either. Who knows?
Well, we can start talking, and I'll compile it a little bit better before I go down there. And Stefania was between Belle and Mary, and she died at a year.
I think that's when I was TV.
Joseph was born after Belle, and he died at 3 years, so he can't be the baby. Let me see. Babies.
2 years. I don't know where he died from.
So Joseph, where did we put this one? Joseph was not the baby.
I don't think they named the baby. Didn't have time. The baby died, I suppose, by the time the priest and everything was coming. In those days, you know.
And the baby died with the mother at birth and buried together in the same casket. And he came to America when he was about 20 years old, first in New York. He worked in New York as a florist, a steel mill in Albany or Buffalo, then to Hatfield and North Hadley. He worked on a farm for Mr. Smith. Hence, people called him Mr. Smith because he became foreman and did the ordering of supplies. His records are in Hadley and in North Hadley. His stepbrother and Gardner, no sisters. He remembers McKinley being shot in office of presidency. He belonged to organizations, the South Deerfield Society and Hadley Church. He built the house. Mr. Graves was a contractor from South Deerfield and in North Hadley. Mary Cummins was, you weren't Mary Cummins, you were Mary Swikowski, was 8 years old when they moved into the new home. He worked on the farm after son-in-law Adam Cummins bought it and saved it for the family. They raised tobacco mainly. Worked hanging tobacco in the peak of sheds until the year before he died. He was terribly curious about things. Granddaughters Helen and Alice wrapped an empty box with gay paper and ribbon and put it, for he would have to pass it 10 times a day. After 3 or 4 days, he was climbing walls and he tore it open. We avoided him for days afterwards. That was kind of mean. Oh, he was so nosy. He had to know all the mail that came in.
Oh, Martha's like that. You should see her. Somebody was walking by. Who's that? Now, what is she doing in the garden? I said, well, don't you go and ask her? And Helen says, my goodness, but you're nosy. Martha was all home. Martha was also nosy. She's getting worse. Anybody goes by and she had to know everything, who they were.
Well, after
your woman was never sick. I don't think she, only for bad cold. I don't think she realized what sickness is.
Well, when your stepmother died, Pop wanted to marry Mrs. Rogalski, didn't he?
He what?
Well, Pop wanted to marry Mrs. Rogalski.
Yeah, well, I jumped on him on that. I said, you marry her? Go ahead. Bring 4 more kids with mine 4. I said, where are we going to all sleep? I said, I'm building a new house by the garage. Then you can do what you want. That didn't settle with him. He wanted me there.
Did he go on vacations anywhere else? Or did you keep
just
him?
to
Vacation. So once in a while he went away.
Oh, yeah. But he couldn't wait to, Stella said he stayed a week or 2 and he couldn't wait to get back home. He said he missed the kids.
We liked him. He was good. I mean, he was good
He
to us.
mellowed. I mellowed him down.
Yeah.
I talked to him after I got married and I told him how things were and I said, you used to hit us, we didn't know what it was for. Just like a horse. And I think he realized it after a while. He was mean to us. I know kids are so.
But then after your real mother died, wasn't he, for a while he was pretty good? He used to curl your hair, you said?
Yeah, until Josephine came in the picture. Josephine was all right. She liked us and she was good until Wesley came. That changed the picture. Oh boy, did it change the picture.
Well,
They used to buy cereals for him and we couldn't touch it. And it was just for Wesley. They bought him a cart with those days they had these big wheel carts. Only thing we could do is give him a ride on it. We couldn't sit in it. He had everything. I'll never forget the time he got mad at his mother. She was feeding him, and I don't know what it was about. And he took the milk bottle and hit it on the head and it cracked the milk bottle. And boy, he was mad at her for something. And she started hitting him and spanking him, and we said, "Don't do that."
probably the first spanking he ever got.
Well, we stuck for him all the time. I don't know why.
Well, I can remember when we moved from North Amherst. How old was I? About 4, 5, 5. Because I remember the truck being all loaded up with the furniture, and didn't we have a white fence in the front of the house? And I remember crying. I says, my father's taking my bed away, and I thought he was leaving us, and I cried and cried. And Aunt Catherine, I said something about this. I said, "Well, no, Helen dear, he's just taking the stuff you're going to have a new home to live in." And
You kids were happy there.
in North Amherst, you mean?
No, I mean in our family.
Oh,
You
yes.
grew up, you had a lot of space, and Father could choose you, and that was worried me is how he, being an older person, how he gets used to 4 kids.
Yeah.
But he took it in stride very good.
Well, was your stepmother buried from the house, like
Everybody was.
the parlor? Boy, I remember the parlor when Pop died. We were so scared to go by that doorway for a long time.
Mother was buried from there, and Dad's mother was buried from there, and stepmother, and all were buried from there.
Now, Pop always said he never wanted to leave the house, and he died in February, and we moved in June of that year.
June and July, something like that. I told Adam, I said, well, stick it out as long as he feels that way, and then you won't feel guilty.
Yeah. It would have been hard for him in Greenfield because the house was small here,
Yeah, but there was enough to do. I think he would have adjusted, I don't know.
The puttering. Well, I suppose picking up roots, the way I feel about leaving Amherst, it still bothers me so much. And we had such good times there. And I just never dreamed we'd have to sell. But we're making a good home at the vineyard.
Oh,
And
God, you did the best thing.
it was a big house to take care of. But you know who had bothered Carrie? She cried. She says, "Grandma," she said, "you can't sell this house." I remember when what was his name? Peterson was his name, from Cushman.
Yeah.
Built the bathroom, and all the neighbors had to come over and see what a bathroom looked like.
Yeah, Cabrera says, "Gee, you're rich people, got a white stove, new white sink, Frigidaire, had a new linoleum on the kitchen looked nice. And new dining room set, and we had a living room set. It was fixed up pretty good at the time. And the bathroom, and I was always cleaning the bathroom. Every time somebody went in there, going there, polishing it.
It was quite a thing down